Event planners are fascinating. I've talked with several over the years, and they've got a lot of data that they have to manage, and in a unique kind of a way. So I started playing with Excel and a model to see how some of this math could work and be integrated. A big issue that keeps coming up with event planners is your client says dinner is $23 a person, and we definitely have to add these 5 more people, and 23 times 5 is not a lot of money. Then the event planner says it's not just $23. We'll need a new table, chairs, napkins, more beer and wine. And how can I show that in Excel? So I developed this. This model would show that the 5 additional people would be roughly $50 a person, not just the 23. Because yes, they do need another table, linen, an overlay, centerpiece, menus. They need everything. So what if we played with some of the numbers? And here's what I developed. Over here, here's a space for the client budget. So we say $10,000. The venue cost $1,100. And we're at 82% capacity because the guest list is taking an active tally. So we're even taking a tally of the room being at 82% capacity. Chairs, linens, centerpiece, everything is here, and it's all being totaled in this section. See, math stuff below this row. So everything is here. And if we said, let's say we're gonna go with $29 centerpiece, everything changes. So we're down here, and what does it say about the more guests? So at $47.61. Another interesting challenge that event planners have described is about the seating. Say you have 13 people and you have 2 tables that hold 6 people each. You can't just divide the 13 by the 6 and come up with 2 and then a fraction of a table. No. And it doesn't make sense to round up and get 3 tables, because then you have 6, 6, and 1. What does that say to the person that's sitting at the table by themselves? That's not a good thing. One solution is to definitely make one table a 7-person table and then the other table a 6-person table. That's perfectly fine. And then you get your 13 people all in a group. And so I thought about that while I was calculating the tables for this model and thinking about comparing loose seating versus a packed seating. Here's table A that holds 6 to 8 people. This model suggests that you can have anywhere between 32 to 43 tables to fit everybody. And the cost of this table rental is in this section. Another interesting thing is, while you do want 1 centerpiece per table and 1 chair per person, napkins aren't something that you just get 1 per person. One event planner suggested that you get 15% more napkins than people. So I built that into the model. For the number of people that we expect, 255, we add on an additional 15% and get 294, and at $1.45 per napkin, that's $426.30 worth of napkins. In this section, I wanted to build something that said exactly where you are in relationship to the budget. So this makes it very plain. If you pack people in like sardines, get the fewest tables, the fewest centerpieces, the fewest overlays and linens, you're still almost $2,000 over budget. So the client says, all right, I will go 12,500. Good. So now the language says that you're actually $535.80 under budget at the low end. So you have some room to play around. And you notice that this visual changed as well. Now the budget is between the low and high marks. Let's go back to $10,000. And what if we said that we've got $17,000? And let's go back to $12,500. This is what our situation looks like. So we don't have to pack people in like sardines, but we can't exactly give everybody all the space that they might want. So let's add a few more people in. With 7 more people, this is what we look like. So the point of all of this is about being able to integrate a lot of moving parts to have some idea of what's going on. You can't get a final cost from this. Right now, this is kind of a sketch to where you can play around with the numbers and then start making some decisions about your final costs. Once you've decided, okay, we don't need the $14 overlay. We're going with the $12 overlay. And we're going to go to the $31 centerpiece. And the $1.10 napkins. And what happens if we go to the $25 dinner? No. Let's stick with the $23 dinner. This was a lot of fun to work on. And I still continue to play with it as I talk with more event planners. And another point to get is that data is everywhere. Data is critical, and data is going to dictate whether this event is a success or a flop. All right, everybody, keep your data clean.